Howdy. Today, we will be taking a look at X-Transbots Razer. And, you know, the more I look at him, the more I think he kinda looks like Bonecrusher from Transformers Generation 1. But that's probably just a coincidence. Or is it? Because this is the 6th video in my King of Third Party Masterpiece Generation 1 Edition series. This figure comes with one combiner forearm, one combiner shoulder adapter, one blaster, one extra head sculpt, 4 extra face sculpts, and one trumpet that I proceeded to throw in my pile of trumpets. In his robot mode, this figure is just awesome. I don't know what's happening right now. X-Transbots is on an absolute roll with their figures right now. The paint is beautiful, again. The articulation is fantastic, again. There are very few things I have to complain about. One of the things is something that a bunch of people already know about. X-Transbots consistency is, you know, if there's one thing X-Transbots can be consistent at, it's not being consistent. It's the purple on these hands. I don't understand why they can't seem to get a consistent purple color. I'm pretty sure it's changed with every release they've made in the series so far, but really, like, that's the only thing I have to complain about. The tolerances are great. The hips use these weird, like, soft ratchets that might as well not be ratchets, but I don't even care because they work. And this figure is just fantastic. The articulation allows you to get him in a bunch of super exotic poses, ones that look interesting on a shelf and not just stick him in an A pose. And I mean, you just want to play with this figure. It's fun to play with. God forbid we get a third-party Masterpiece figure that's actually enjoyable to mess around with, but it's great. This figure is awesome. It looks fantastic. The sculpt work is great. You know, you could argue that there's not enough detail on the torso where there's a ton of detail on the legs, but the silhouette of this figure is one of the best I've ever seen on any transforming action figure ever. Here's how X-Transbots Razer scales with Deluxe Class Deep Cover, Voyager Class Sweep, and Leader Class Grimlock. Here's how X-Transbots Razer scales with Takara Tomy Masterpiece Megatron and Masterpiece Starscream. Here's how X-Transbots Razer scales with X-Transbots Big Load, X-Transbots Gravedigger, and X-Transbots Ground Bite. In his vehicle mode, X-Transbots Razer is a bulldozer. In his vehicle mode, Razer is pretty cool. There's a bunch of little details that are just like part of the transformation, and they didn't have to include any sculpted detail on it. That's just the transformation engineering shown raw. And you know what? I'm okay with that because it adds to the feeling that this is supposed to be like a real machine. Now, the interesting part of that is the front of the bucket is super plain. And I know there's not a whole lot that you can really do with the bucket, but one of the strange things is from the original design of this model, they took away some pistons that they used to have running to the bucket. And that's kind of a shame because they focused on a lot of real-world detail, and especially stuff like pistons, on the other figures, and it's a shame that they didn't keep those around for this figure. Otherwise, I mean, it's, you know, a bright green bulldozer with enough visual interest that it doesn't just look like a block, you know? Here's how X-Transbots Razer scales with Deluxe Class Deep Cover, Voyager Class Artfire, and Leader Class Laser Optimus Prime. Here's how X-Transbots Razer scales with X-Transbots Gravedigger, X-Transbots Ground Bite, and X-Transbots Big Load. Here's how X-Transbots Razer in Combiner Limb mode scales with X-Transbots Gravedigger. I hope you've enjoyed this brief look at X-Transbots Razer. I got this figure from Agabus at agabus.com. If there are any other figures you'd like me to take a look at next, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to check out my King of Third Party Masterpiece Generation 1 Edition playlist, also linked down below. And as always, I'm Leo, reminding you that plastic toys don't belong in plastic prisons. See you next time.